What is a habitat? Well, it says here we're in cougar habitat and we're in black bear country, okay? So a habitat is a defined space, a defined area on the earth where life exists, and specific types of life in some cases. So when we look at habitats, it's a good way to look at different regions of the earth as far as the living flora and fauna and know what exists here, okay? If you're out hiking far from other people, you should be aware of the habitat you're in and what you may meet in the area, okay? So let's think about habitats a little bit, and think about your home habitat, think about human habitats, and think about flora and fauna and the habitats that exist in different parts of the earth. Okay, so habitats do include people. The indigenous people of any country are considered the original people. That's what indigenous means. And when we look at some areas of the earth, especially in the United States, Australia, South America, we're going to see that the indigenous people often weren't treated very well. People that came here and settled had superior firearms, had steel, had different things. They brought germs with them as well that were decimating to the native peoples, to the indigenous peoples. People died from smallpox quite a bit, the indigenous people of North America. That was pretty deadly. And then there were the treaties. You know, here is treaties signed that did not survive or not do very well. I'm always amazed how little we know about the native people of North America. The many different peoples, different languages. We really don't study it very well. Hollywood has created the image of the Indian for a long time, but there's so much diversity from east to west, north to south. And this is one corner of North America here where we had the Salish people that stretch all the way up into Alaska, and whose life revolved around the Pacific Ocean and the rivers. You know, they were not so much people who hunted to a large degree inland, but they stayed at the coast, and the coast provided everything they needed here. And they moved up and down different settlements at different times. They were officially declared extinct as a people in the Eisenhower administration in the 1950s. Of course, they were not extinct. They survive today. They live today. There are some reservation lands around here, and they're quite successful at one of the local reservations as well. So they were some of the people who funded this area right here that I'm at, Kilchis Bay Point. Okay, Kilchis Point. I want you to notice when the first permanent settler came here, 1851. Okay, and he lived in a tree. Try that sometime. But compare that to where you live. When were the first permanent settlers that came there in the United States? Where did they come from? Did they come from Europe? Did they come from other parts of the United States? Who were the native people, the indigenous people who were there before them? So think about that stuff, and think about the industry that they had to survive here in this area. Okay, in this case we had railways and timber. Timber was pretty important. How do you get the timber out of here? Well, it was the railroads for a long, long time. Okay, so we also built some boats, some ships here. The Morning Star was an early one. As it says, it was built to take goods between Tillamook and Astoria. Okay, again, 1850s, this area was coming alive, the decade before the Civil War. Probably the native people were not real happy about that, but it seemed that relations were pretty good. There was a lot of intermarriage, and a lot of people are descended from those marriages between the indigenous people and the new settlers, who often came out here as single men without families and often married a local woman. Okay, that's not uncommon. Here's the real reason I came here today. Blackberry season. They're everywhere. So these have been picked pretty regularly, it looks like. But yeah, blackberries, who likes blackberries? Bears like blackberries, deer like blackberries, elk like blackberries, humans like blackberries. So here you go, another reason to visit a park or trail. Well, I think I'm going to stop this for now because I'm going to pick some blackberries. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.